We will not let this break us.
No, we will not.
Kate and Toby deal with the loss of their baby, and Rebecca and Kate finally have a really touching breakthrough moment. Let's break down the second in the Big Three trilogy of episodes of This Is Us right here on What Happened. How's it going, everyone, and welcome back. Happy Thanksgiving week. So last week's episode of This Is Us was dedicated to number 1, Kevin, and this week's episode is dedicated to number 2, Kate. Now, just as with Kevin's episode, we get to dive a little deeper into why they are the way they are now. And I'm not gonna lie, just as Kevin is oftentimes pretty selfish and not the most likable character, the same can pretty much be said about Kate. This episode, though, finally does give something that I've been wanting for a while, for Kate and Rebecca to kind of put aside their differences and to understand each other, even if it's only for a short period of time. So let's just go ahead and dive into this recap. We open this week's episode same as last week with Jack and Rebecca filming the Big Three and their first steps. Baby Kate seems to be having trouble walking, but we hear Jack and Rebecca say that she's a fighter and she's going to do it, which definitely pertains to this episode. Let's kick things off with teenage Kate's storyline. As Rebecca is busy with her overly orange cake for Kevin's meeting with the pit coach, she asks Kate if she's made her list of top 5 colleges yet, like the counselor suggested. Kate does not look too thrilled to entertain what her mom is saying. She's just preoccupied with, cleaning up her dog Louie's pee and all of that. Kate just says there's a month to decide, and when Rebecca offers to sit with her and help her look at schools, Kate brushes her off, per usual. Later, as Jack and Randall are getting ready to leave for their college visit, Kate returns home from walking Louie and goes to her room. Rebecca knocks to come in, but Kate's music is so loud she doesn't hear, so Rebecca just comes in and sits on the bed. And of course, Kate resumes her, typical teenage attitude as Rebecca is actually trying to have a real conversation with her and trying to tell her that she understands her. Rebecca has finally realized that maybe she's been a little too dense about the college stuff when it comes to Kate, since both Kevin and Randall seem to know what they're going to do with her life. She actually tells Kate that it's okay to not know your path yet and suggests maybe, it's a good thing to keep your options open, go to a school where you can study lots of things and find what you're passionate about. And Rebecca is actually really trying here. She's not putting Kate down in any way. She's trying to be supportive, and it's really nice to see Rebecca be this way. But of course, Kate, and she snaps at Rebecca and takes everything Rebecca says as a dig to her, and basically says she didn't realize Rebecca thought she was passionless until that moment. Kate then leaves for school while Rebecca picks up Kate's Walkman and puts it on the desk and discovers that Kate actually has been looking at colleges. She's filled out an application for the Berklee School of Music. And Rebecca pops in Kate's audition tape, which is a beautiful rendition of Summertime. And you can see on Rebecca's face that she is actually really proud in that moment. She seems kind of sad that Kate wouldn't tell her about her singing dream, but so proud that Kate has done something like this. At Kevin's football game, Kate is still being a little cold, and Rebecca pulls out a check from her purse for $50 and hands it to Kate, which she says is for her application fee. Of course, the first thing Kate does is snap back at Rebecca for going through her stuff. Rebecca does apologize, though, and says she didn't have a choice since Kate has been so closed off to her lately. She then asks Kate why she didn't want her to know that she was interested in singing again, because she would have helped her if she had known. Well, we kind of saw how that went when Kate was 10, so that's probably why Kate was like, "No, Mom, I don't need your help with the singing." Rebecca tells Kate that she sounded terrific, and I was waiting for that glimpse of old Rebecca to add in, "You sounded terrific, but you could have done this better, or your song choice could have been different." But thankfully, Rebecca actually doesn't do that. She instead just sticks with giving Kate her praise and her support and telling Kate that she really thinks she has a real shot of getting into the school. It's all interrupted when Kevin gets hurt on the football field. As they're waiting in the hospital for an update about Kevin, Kate apologizes to Rebecca for not telling her about the Berklee application because she says if she didn't get in, she knew she would be crushed, but she also couldn't deal on top of that with disappointing Rebecca. Now, Rebecca says she actually would not have been disappointed for herself, but she would have been disappointed for Kate. But Kate retorts back with, "Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference." Rebecca then tells Kate about how her mom was like a closed steel door, and she promised herself that if she had a daughter, she would do things in a different way and be a mother who always had her arms wide open waiting for her daughter to fall into them if she needed it. Rebecca points out, though, that even though she did things differently than her mother, she and Kate just never got to that point for some reason. But that hasn't hindered her, and Rebecca says that she'll always be there standing with her arms wide open, waiting for Kate to maybe one day fall inside of them if she needs them. Rebecca also adds that if Kate does, she'll love her, but even if Kate never does fall into her arms, she's still going to love her because that's what being a parent means. And we even see Kate start to tear up a little bit. Kate and Randall then wait with Kevin as Jack and Rebecca go out to bring the car around, and as Kate goes to get Kevin a drink from the soda machine, she looks outside and sees Jack and Rebecca hugging. Now let's head over to the current storyline, which correlates to all of this. Kate is taking her prenatal vitamins and talking to the baby, and she actually seems really excited now for this baby. She's made a list of all the questions she has for the doctor as Toby makes her gross-looking pregnancy shake. Kate then heads to the bathroom to measure the tub for the Swedish baby bath they ordered when it sounds like something falls and Kate screams for Toby and he goes rushing to the bathroom. We then jump to Kate and Toby at the hospital with the doctor telling them that they lost the baby but they would be able to try again in about 4 weeks if they wanted to. But there also don't seem to be any complications, so she should be okay to go home. Now, as Toby tries to comfort Kate and asks if, she heard what the doctor said, they can try again, don't be so devastated, Kate says she just wants to get dressed. And now, they haven't told us exactly what happened in that bathroom, but it seems like maybe Kate fell and that fall caused her to lose the baby. But that's actually not case. Back at the apartment, Kate is once again upset, but she is holding everything into herself. She keeps avoiding calls and texts from her mom, Rebecca. She walks by the bathroom and sees the mangled shower curtain and rod, and we see what happened in the bathroom. She had a sharp pain in her stomach, which was probably the miscarriage starting, and she grabbed the shower curtain to, brace herself, but ended up ripping it off the, rod. She then decides to shield her pain and puts on her nice red dress and makeup to go to her lunchtime singing gig, which totally throws Toby off guard since, he thought they'd spend the day trying not to cry together and watching sitcoms because they just went through such a huge, devastating moment. Toby thinks it's insane that Kate wants to go to work and they fight about it, but Kate says she's going to go anyways and just tells Toby to pick her up after work around 3:30. We then see Toby walk by the bathroom and remember the moment they lost the baby, so he decides to take out his anger and takes the shower curtain and rod and goes and throws it in the dumpster. He then gets a notification to add to that pain that the Swedish baby bath is on its way to be delivered. So he decides to intercept the package because he thinks it showing up on their doorstep would just cause more pain for Kate. He sets off to the package warehouse where a guy named Carl says that he can't give him any information on the package, but Toby, in a sense, pretty much blows up at Carl saying that he needs to find this package. So Carl eventually looks up and finds that the package isn't on the truck, but he can't tell him where it is. He doesn't know. So Toby decides, I'm going to comb this entire warehouse looking for this package. But sadly, he doesn't end up finding it. As he's in the car afterwards, banging on the steering wheel out of anger because he couldn't find the package and he's scared that, if it shows up on the doorstep and Kate finds it first, it's just gonna, reopen these wounds. Carl knocks on the window saying he found it, and Toby signs for the package and then gives it to Carl to give to his sister who is due soon. Meanwhile, Kate is singing at her gig and seems fine until she sees a little girl get up and start dancing and the mom smiling and filming it. She leaves in the middle of the gig and walks to a buffet where it looks like she's going to eat her feelings. She fills that plate up sky high. She ends up not eating it though, leaving it on the table untouched. And she also continues to ignore calls from her mom. When Toby goes to pick up Kate, he learns that she left hours ago and he's not too happy about it. Kate, in the meantime, returns home and sees the shower curtain gone. She finally answers her mom's call and just tells her mom that she lost the baby and to not say anything. And as we hear Rebecca start to say more, is there anything I can do for you, Kate just hangs up on her. She then tries to call Kevin because that's who she usually leans on for these things, but he doesn't answer. Then Toby returns home pretty upset and they have a huge blowout. She blames Toby for getting excited about the baby, and Toby says, you know what, they didn't lose the baby because they got their hopes up, it just happened. Kate then snaps at him saying it happened to me, not to you, which cuts Toby deep. He explains to her just how he's felt with the whole thing and how, he's been dealing with it and trying to make her feel better and not, wake up those wounds for her. And he says that while it didn't happen to his body and he doesn't know what that will ever feel like, this event still did happen to him on an emotional level and it hurt pretty badly. He then walks to the bedroom and slams the door, leaving Kate to sleep on the couch. She eventually wakes up to see a note from Toby that he went to get some air, and there's a knock on the door, and she thinks that maybe Toby forgot his keys. Standing there is Rebecca with her arms wide open. She walks in and gives Kate a huge hug, and we finally see Kate break down, embrace Rebecca, and cry into her arms. And as Rebecca says, I'm right here. It looks like this is the moment that Rebecca spoke of in the flashbacks when she said, you know what, I'm always going to have my arms open for you to fall into if you ever need it. Kate then opens up to Rebecca asking how she could feel this sad when she never even met the baby. And you know what? The one person she can finally relate to on this is her own mother, Rebecca. Rebecca starts to explain how she pretty much felt the same way with baby Kyle. She thought she knew him and she never ended up holding him even though they offered that to her. because she felt like if she didn't hold him it would lessen the pain, but she didn't know that she would be wrong about that. She then began to wonder if losing Kyle was all her fault, and when Kate says that it wasn't her fault, Rebecca flips it on Kate, telling her that losing the baby wasn't her fault either. Kate says it was different for her though, so maybe it was technically part of her fault, and Rebecca just reassures her it wasn't. Kate then reveals what's really been bugging her. She feels like she took this from Toby, that he's disappointed in her, and Rebecca says that, you know what, she held her grief from Jack for weeks, thinking it would hurt him if he saw how sad she was. It eventually built up so much though that Rebecca took all her grief out and her anger on a woman in a grocery store over a bag of yellow onions. Rebecca reveals though that letting go of that grief and dealing with the situation helped open up space in her heart for Kevin, Randall, and Kate. And then the two of them share some hugs and I love yous, and Rebecca just tells Kate, you know what, you need to talk to Toby. When Toby returns home, he sees Kate and Rebecca watching TV, and I'm pretty sure he's thinking in his head, oh crap, like, I don't know if I can deal with Rebecca and Kate fighting on top of what just happened with this baby. But he's actually pretty shocked when Rebecca just gets up off the couch, walks over into him, gives him a hug, and leaves to go get coffee down the street, while Kate says, you know, Toby, come sit with me. She tells Toby that she feels like she failed him, and Toby says that she never could. Kate then reveals that she wants to try again, but not yet, but maybe soon, and Toby just smiles and tells her, you know, let's do it whenever you're ready. They then go out and fix the shower and tell each other that they're not going to let this event break them, and we end the episode with footage of baby Randall trying to help Kate walk, and then Jack and Rebecca telling Randall to give Kate some space, and then he starts walking, and it's setting up for the next episode. Alright, so that wraps up the events of this episode number 2. Now, I'm not going to lie, still not super warmed up to Kate, but there's no denying that everyone in this episode delivered a great and emotional performance, just like all the actors did in the last episode. Like, the scenes between Kate and Rebecca in the hospital hallway and on the couch were beautiful. I think Hannah and Mandy and Chrissy all did a fabulous job. You know, Chris as Toby did so great as well. And ever since Kate blew up at Rebecca earlier this season at her gig, it seems like Rebecca has actually tried to put in an effort to change and, you know, be different in a sense for Kate. So now hopefully Kate will too, because, you know, it seems like Kate and Kevin are both pretty closed off to their parents for fear of disappointing them on some level. And Kate has this big fear of disappointing everyone, which obviously we've seen before Jack dies, but after Jack died, seems like it's definitely escalated as to, you know, how deep that goes, especially since she always thinks that she's failing Toby. But the closure that came with, you know, relating to Rebecca on this level, it was just a really beautiful moment. Next week, though, we dive into Randall, so let's check out the promo for that episode.
You know, I just keep saying it, Harvard, my kid, Harvard.
I was actually wondering if we could visit a different school.
What do you care about the Ivy League set?
The This Is Us fall finale with a defining moment
What's going on?
They dropped the charges. I'm here for my daughter.
that will change two families.
The woman that we saw last night is not fit to take care of a child, and we're gonna fight it.
Okay, so that episode also serves as the fall finale for This Is Us, and the producers told Entertainment Weekly that Jack and Randall's college visit, during that they're going to learn some unexpected truths about each other, and the episode will also end on a cliffhanger, which will propel us to the second half of the season, which makes me pretty excited, but of course not excited that we have to wait such a long time in between the cliffhanger and the next episode. Anyway, hit me up in the comments and let me know what you thought about this Kate-centric episode. Have your opinions on Kate changed at all? Are you happy that she and Rebecca finally had a big breakthrough with their relationship? While Kevin didn't seem to get a happy ending in his episode, Kate and Toby seemed to get the closure that they needed to be in a better place. So how do you think that is going to be moving forward, and what do you want to see in Randall's episode? Let me know, then you can click right over here for some more of my videos, and subscribe if you like what you see. Hit that thumbs up, do whatever you feel like. I'm Lisa, thanks so much for hanging out with me again for another recap. Happy Thanksgiving.